Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In the last class we have discussed that what is a chemical reaction, what is a balanced chemical reaction, how to write a reaction equation, and some of the homework questions which I have given. Let us discuss it now. So the first question was that on what basis is the chemical equation be balanced? So simply the answer could be the law of conservation of mass. What does the law of conservation of mass tells? It states that the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. That means the number of atoms or molecules present in the reactant side of a chemical equation must be equal as that of the product. Okay. Next question was that which of the following is a chemical change and why, whether the burning of wax or melting of wax. So simply burning of wax will be the answer, because we know very well that in a chemical change products cannot be changed back into the reactant. That means it is irreversible. Chemical reactions are irreversible, which is also called as chemical change. And what in case of a physical change? That no new substance will be formed, but it can be reversed. Clear? Coming to the third question, that why do fireflies glow at night? Generally in the fireflies, one protein is present in their body which generally goes under the oxidation. Oxidation means addition of oxygen. Obviously, if there is the presence of air, there will be the addition of oxygen. So simply the proteins present in the fireflies goes under oxidation, and then in the presence of air and also as a enzyme. Enzymes are generally the chemical messengers present in a living body. Okay, so it glows generally at the night because a type of chemical reaction takes place with the help of the protein present in their body, which is called as bioluminescence. Coming to the next question, that we have to write a balanced chemical equation for the process of respiration. What is respiration? Respiration is simply that process in which we intake the food and we consume the energy from that, right? So simply the chemical equation can be written as C6H12O6, which is glucose, which reacts with the oxygen, then it gives carbon dioxide, water, and some amount of energy. In this carbon dioxide, it gets converted into the energy. Okay, now we are going to discuss the types of chemical reactions. First is combination reaction. What is a combination reaction? By the word combination only we are understanding that something is getting combined or something which is coming together. Simply those reactions in which two or more reactants. Reactant means the substance which is present in the left side of the chemical equation. Okay, so it combines to form a single product. We can see in this skeletal equation that reactant 1 plus reactant 2, when it is getting combined together, it gives AB, means a single product. We can understand it by the example that calcium oxide with water gives calcium hydroxide by releasing some amount of heat. Simply we can see that two substances are getting combined to give one of the single product, right? Coming to the next type of chemical reaction, that is decomposition reaction. It is simply just the reverse of the chemical reaction. Means in combination reaction, what we were doing? We were just adding two things to get one single product, and in this a single compound will break it down into two or more products. We can see that 2 of HgO is breaking down into twice of Hg and oxygen. Okay, and this decomposition reaction can be of three types. The first one is the thermal decomposition. Thermal means heat. Means in the presence of heat, whenever a single reactant break into two or more product, it will be called as thermal decomposition reaction. We can take the example of calcium carbonate, which is getting broken down into the CaO plus CO2, carbon dioxide. Second would be photochemical decomposition. Photo means your sunlight. Photo means sunlight. Whenever there is a presence of sunlight and the decomposition reaction takes place, it is called as photochemical decomposition reaction. We can take the example of silver chloride. When it comes in the contact of sunlight, it used to break itself in silver metal and chloride. Clear? Third would be your electrolytic decomposition. Electrolytic means decomposition would be taking place in the presence of electricity. That means water is breaking down into hydrogen and oxygen. Clear? Now next type of chemical reaction is the displacement reaction. Displacement, by the name we can understand that displacement means to move of one substance from one place to another, right? So the reactions in which a more reactive element which can displace a less reactive metal from its solution is called a displacement reaction. Like we can understand by example that if I have kept a block of 2 kg here and one is of 2 grams, obviously this one is the heavier, and when I will push this one, it will be moved out from its place. But what if I will take this 2 gram of block or just a particle to move this 2 kgs of block? Obviously it will not move. That means more stronger or more reactive substance is only able to displace the smaller one or the weaker one. Same is in the case of displacement reaction. More reactive element will always displace a less reactive material or metal from its solution. We can see the skeletal of this reaction, that is AB means a compound plus C metal gives the next compound by displacing the less one with the more, and the less reactive metal will be displaced, right? That is copper sulfate plus iron gives iron sulfate or ferric sulfate, we can see, and copper. Clear? Next is double displacement reaction. This is same as that of the displacement reaction, but it will happen twice. Double means twice, right? Means in this two compounds exchange their ions to form the new compounds. Like we can see here that AB reacting with CD gives BC. We can see that B has taken place with the C and A has took place with the D, right? Like barium chloride plus sodium sulfate gives barium sulfate and NaCl, isn't it? Simply it is displacing the ions in themselves only to form the newly compounds. Next is our oxidation reaction. By the name we will understand that oxidation reaction means simply oxidized, something is getting oxidized, means there is a addition of oxygen, and if there is a addition of oxygen, hydrogen would be removed. Make sure to learn that whenever oxygen is added somewhere, hydrogen would be removed, and that type of chemical reaction is called as oxidation reaction. We can see that when copper is reacting with oxygen, it is giving copper oxide. That means copper has get oxidized, isn't it? So this type of chemical reaction is called as oxidation reaction. Next is reduction. This is the reverse of the oxidation reaction, that in this hydrogen would be added, and if hydrogen is added, that means oxygen would be removed. Okay, so Na plus H2, it will give sodium hydride. Simply we can see here that hydrogen is getting added with this, okay. Now next is our redox reaction, which is the father mother of oxidation and reduction reaction. That means oxidation as well as reduction will take place together in a reaction which is called as redox reaction. We can see that when copper oxide is reacting with hydrogen, it is just displacing, means copper is getting reduced, means oxygen is getting reduced with the copper, and hydrogen is here it is getting oxidized. This means this is oxidized, this is reduced. That means here reduction has taken place, here oxidation is taking place, and by combining both of them, the reaction which is called as redox reaction, simply. Now next is your exothermic reaction. That means the reaction in which heat is evolved. Evolved means released. Evolved means released. Okay, so that type of reactions are called as exothermic reactions. We can take the example of respiration. That is, glucose is getting added with the oxygen and it is giving carbon dioxide, water and heat. That means it is getting released. It is getting simply released. And next is our endothermic reaction, the last reaction, in which the heat is absorbed. Heat is absorbed. That means heat is getting used to make the compounds here. That is 2KClO3 with the heat, with the consumption of heat, giving twice of KCl, potassium chloride, and thrice of oxygen gas. Clear? So this was all about our types of reaction. Now we are going to discuss corrosion and rancidity. So what is corrosion? It is simply a process in which the metals react with the substances present in the atmosphere, for example air or water, okay, to form the surface compounds. Like we have seen that whenever the iron rods or something made up of iron is kept in air, or some of the time the rain used to come and it is getting wet, right? So after some time we will see a reddish brown coating is formed in it, that is ferric, so which is called as the rusting of iron. This is simply called as the rusting of iron. That means a reddish brown colored coating is formed in it. That means we call it in Hindi like jung lag gaya, isn't it? And one more example we can take, that is the silver. Silver used to turn black due to the formation of silver sulfide. So how can we reduce it? So simply by oiling, greasing, painting, coating with the zinc, that means galvanization. Okay, these are some of the methods by which we can prevent the corrosion. Now what is rancidity? Simply I'll just take an example. You might have observed that when you take the packets of the chips, kurkure or something like that, after some time when you keep it at your home, it used to some oiliness and some different type of taste or smell used to come out from that, isn't it? So that means what? That the eating substance has got rancidized. Why? What that means? Food is being spoiled. Why? Due to the oxidation, means oxygen has taken place in the food product, which has spoiled your food completely, which is not eatable, isn't it? So generally, how can we understand that the food which you are going to eat is not eatable when it is rancidized? So simply it will change its taste, smell, color, texture, etc. Okay, so how can we reduce or prevent the rancidity? Simply by adding antioxidant. Antioxidant means that which will cut off the supply of oxygen. Next, it can be that replacing some of the oxygen gases with any other gas, for example nitrogen. Generally nitrogen is used for fixing or packaging the food products. Okay, then canning, then refrigeration, etc. These things can be used to prevent the rancidity. Clear? Now there are two questions I would like to discuss, that why do we store silver chloride in a dark colored bottles? Okay, this is very important question. That why should we keep the silver chloride AgCl2 in dark colored bottles, right? Because it will decompose, means it will break down into silver metal and chlorine gas. Okay, and what happens when quicklime is added to water which is filled in a bucket? It will turn into the slack line. It will form the slack line along with the evolution of gas. Simply evolution of gas means exothermic reaction. Okay, so that's all for our chapter number 1 of your standard 10, and in the next class we will be discussing the MCQs, assertion based questions and case based questions according to the board norms in the next class. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you.